So this is 2 hours in. Not seeing any bubbles, but as you can see on the top there, we are already kind of churning. Looks quite a bit different already in kind of the body of it than it did even a couple hours ago. So that's kind of interesting. Real thick stuff going on there. You see the hops floating around. But anyway, we'll keep an eye on it. That's kind of a big change after a couple hours. We are at about 15 hours in now, and there's definitely activity in the blow off there. You can see it's bubbling pretty regularly. And I'd say it characterized the Croissant on the top. It's less thick because, as we saw yesterday when I first started it, there was a lot of stuff kind of floating at the top that wasn't busted up yet. So I think the yeast has been doing a good job of working through that. That looks more like a traditional Croissant to me, that for a beer that you would have boiled and done the typical way. So yeah, I'm gonna check on it later today and see what it's up to. But that seems to be doing what it's supposed to be doing. We are now about 20 hours in, going absolutely crazy. The blow off tube. When I first cracked the door on the fermentation chamber, I'm like, "What's going on?" It looks like it's done, but it just is. I think it's just churning away. You can probably see the kind of the body of it has already lightened quite a bit in color as it's working through this stuff. I don't know. You can see that there's chunks of stuff on there that's hop matter, and I assume still probably working through some of that DME that probably clumped up. But I don't think it's a problem. It got churned up enough, and it'll eat through that stuff eventually. We're only on day one. We're not even 24 hours in yet, so I think it's going to be fine. But yeah, it's crazy compared to just this morning how nuts the blow off tube is going now. So I think we are well underway. We're a little past 24 hours in now, and we're going to need a blow off tube for our blow off tube. That is crazy. I've never seen anything go quite that nuts. It is still just bubbling away, and as you can see, foam from the star sand in that mason jar is coming out. And this stuff, even after a few more hours, is looking more just like hot matter, and less like there's chunks of DMA. You can still see some, but it is really whatever that yeast is. It is really chewing through stuff. I will be curious to see what it looks like tomorrow. I'm probably just going to leave it alone for the rest of the day, but it is cranking away. This is at about 48 hours in, and you can see it is still just going crazy on the blow-off tube. This is probably the most activity of that nature that I've seen in a beer that I've brewed in recent memory. You can also see the top is getting looking more like a traditional Croissant. There's you can still see there's some chunks of DME in there. It's working through, but more foam, less chunky stuff. Body again is clearing up. Clearing is probably not the right word. It's looking more like beer that's in the process of being fermented than a bunch of stuff that's just sitting there. It was a lot darker before, but anyway, yeah, that's it's been going like this for probably a solid 24 hours now, if not a little bit more. So whatever yeast that it is really active, which I guess is in line with them saying it's designed for rapid fermentation. But yeah, it's a fun process to watch. This is 5 days in. You can see it's still bubbling a little bit, or was a second ago. There we go. Much less than a couple days ago. And the top has cleared up significantly. I think it might come out as looking like there's white clumps in there on the video. There maybe a little bit, but most of that's reflection. It looks like a lot of hot matter, obviously. But again, we're only 5 days in. They recommend at least 10, I think, or they said when the airlock stops bubbling, which I don't think is the safest way to do it. But anyway, it's progressing along pretty well, I think. Starting to look more like beer instead of sludge, which is good. Anyway. We are now 8 days into fermentation on the Flash Brewing Kit. You can see the top calmed down quite a lot. I do still see a couple little white chunks in there that I assume are just a little bit of the DMA that didn't get quite dissolved. I'm not sure about that, but yeah, it's looking less funky, clearing up. Things seem to be kind of melding. And again, I'm going to give it a full 14 days, and this has been at 68 degrees in my fermentation chamber, and then I'm just going to cold crash it right in here for 2-3 days, and then we'll get it kegged. We're on day 14 of fermentation, so the time has come to cold crash. Usually I move my fermenters to a different fridge to cold crash, but in this case, I'm just going to do it right here since I don't have another beer on deck. So we're just going to drop the temperature in the fermentation chamber down, but this is what it looks like after 14 days. There's still some stuff on top there. My guess is that will start falling out pretty readily. Definitely a lot less cloudy than it was a few days ago even. But you know, again, this is a new process for me. I'm trying to keep an eye on how this all works, and not typically how I do things. So there's a lot more stuff in there than would be in most of my batches. And we'll talk about when I keg in a couple of days. Probably give it 3 days actually. I did get a filter that I may use when I put it into the Oxebar Keg. So anyway, I'm trying a lot of new stuff with this process just because it seemed like a good opportunity. But yeah, we're coming along. We'll drop it down to I don't know, probably 36 degrees or so, maybe a little bit lower, and let it sit for 3 days, and we'll see how it clears up. And the day has come. We are getting ready to keg the Citra Session Pale Ale Flash Brewing Kit. It wound up cold crashing for almost 4 days. I got sidetracked with other things. And yeah, sorry if the audio is not great. I'm just doing this on my phone. I could not get a good angle with my other camera and figure this will be okay. It cleared up. Cold crashing helped a ton. If you watched the previous segments of fermentation, hopefully you can kind of see in there all the junk that was kind of hanging out on the top, even at the right before cold crash, of course, settled out, which I was hoping it would happen. I was ready to use a filter if I needed to. But yeah, I'm just gonna I won't go into too much details for the purposes of the video, and the brewery is a disaster because of that thing over there is making home for that, which upended the entire space. So I'm just going to transfer it into one of these Oxebar kegs, which are really cool. I'm not going to go into details on that. There's plenty of videos on that. I'll put some links to. But yeah, I figured, what the heck? I only had 2.5 gallon torpedo kegs, so it was a good opportunity to pick up a couple of these and give them a try. And I'm just going to do my usual and get it in the keg. Not much more to say other than I don't think, like I said, I need a filter. It is cleared up substantially due to cold crashing. And I have decided the next kit I'm going to do the I Heart IPA. I'm just going to do that kind of by the book, meaning I'm just going to throw it together in a sanitized fermenter and leave it in my brewing space and let it do its thing. So I'll get this transferred, and we'll maybe do a little sip afterwards to see how it tastes. Won't be done, of course, but we'll get a sense. Sorry, before I get this transferred, I do want to say one more thing. I'm a little bit astounded at the low level of trub at the bottom of this thing. Hopefully you can see that pretty well, but I was expecting, given where we started, a lot more. So this thing really fermented out nicely. And like I said, the cold crashing really helped the stuff on the top to fall out more than I thought. So not going to use, I got one of those bouncer filters just in case it looked pretty chunky, but I don't think I need it. I'm going to be curious when I do the next kit if not cold crashing is going to, how that's going to go, but we're going to do it by the book next time and see how it goes. Anyway, I'll get this transferred and we'll do a little quick taste. Figure I can add a couple more things while it's transferring. Basically, the thing I was concerned about with the filter was that I'm transferring closed into this Oxebar keg, which comes with a floating dip tube with a filter on it. And I was concerned, I got let a little gas off getting a little bit high on the transfer. I was a little concerned that there was going to be so much hot matter and whatnot that the filter on the beer line on the Oxebar keg was going to get clogged with stuff, but that doesn't seem to be the case. It's going, relatively slowly. I'm not pushing it because I want to transfer pretty quietly, and it's going down through that filter into the bottom of the keg. And yeah, I know I keep saying this. Now I'm going to stop. Next time we'll pick this back up, we'll have a little tiny taste. I wound up making a bit of a mess anyways. For some reason, I think I may need to tighten that faucet. It's a little bit something sprayed out the bottom there. I've never seen that happen before. Anyway, that's the beer there. As you can see, it's pretty, it's hazy because it's just freshly kegged, but it's not chunky or anything. Already has a nice little head on it. Again, I didn't really ferment under pressure, I didn't ferment under pressure at all, but the cold crashing had a little bit of gas on it. So, and the kegerator obviously I think I have it set to 11 psi, but pretty clear. I'm a little bit shocked actually how clear it actually is. Light color, lighter than maybe I was guessing it would have been based on what it looked like in the fermenter, but that tends to be the case anyway. And this is a little glass obviously too, but anyway, sorry, I should have set up better to do a tasting, but aroma is fantastic. It smells like Citra hops, which is one of my favorites. Nothing wrong with that at all. And I'll take a little taste. Well, you stirred the mess on my cake tower there. It tastes really good, I gotta say. Already, the mouthfeel is a little bit thin because it's not fully, obviously not fully carved and whatnot. But the flavor is really good, nice, and if you love Citra hops, you would, I think, really like this kit. I'll just stop there for now so I don't ramble too much. But anyway, that's where we're at, and I think I'll do full tasting video after another week or so in the keg. We'll let it get fully carved and condition a little bit, and talk a little bit more about kind of where I see these kits fitting into the overall picture of brewing. So thanks for watching. I hope that gave some of you people that are interested in flash brewing kits a little bit more information. So far so good, and we'll see how it tastes in another week. Thanks for watching. Bonus clip. I just wanted to comment on how easy it was to clean as well, and that's going to be another point of comparison if I don't cold crash and all this. This was just as easy as any other beer I've made. The tube at the bottom came out nicely. The ring around, that was kind of at the top of the kreuzen. I just blasted it with this sprayer and came right off. I did give it a nice wipe with the soft cloth just to make sure I wasn't getting any or wasn't missing any residue. But yeah, cleanup was as per usual and not too bad.